I said to my mom one day, I got like a magazine, I was like, Mom, do you think like if I start like this diet like tomorrow, do you think like I would be like the right, like back to my old weight in like a month? And she just went, bah! How are me internet family, and welcome back for another video. Today I am joined by...
I'm Nikki. And I'm Sammy.
And we thought we would talk to you about how between us, we've lost a combined, what is it, 360 pounds. So what is that in stone for the English people?
I know, should we say what each of us lost in stone?
Yes.
So I lost 11 stone, that's 154 pounds. I lost 10 stone, which is 140 pounds.
And I lost 4 stone, which is 60 pounds. We did want to say, we have all gained a little bit back, but that's none of my business.
It's like a healthy amount. So on Twitter, Melanie asked for questions about adapting to a new lifestyle and how you keep it up.
Yeah, because it is a huge change.
Yeah, because obviously you're changing from what you were before to doing things how you do them now.
Yeah, and we've all learned that you can't just do one thing and the weight comes off and then it stays off and you go back to your old habits. It just doesn't work like that.
I saw one question about, I haven't even read the question properly, but it's about balance. I think that's the key word for today.
Yeah.
Balance.
Let's all cheers to balance.
Cheers to
balance.
I'm out of coffee, but I'll do it anyway. Mel's got a really overfilled tea. I just cheered you twice.
I do.
It's really fucking hot.
And he poured it all over you. So that's actually how I found the lads, was their weight loss videos. And I have made a few before in the past, but a lot of people ask me all the time to talk more about it. So yeah, I'm going to answer your questions with these males to help me.
I think it's interesting as well because like not a lot of men talk about it.
No. Oh yeah, not enough men at all talk about it. Like, because it's something that everyone like. It's not just exclusive to girls. You know, like guys also struggle with body confidence and.
I think men are emotionally stunted, and I'm saying that as a guy. I think we like don't talk about feelings or emotions.
Yeah, you're almost taught not to. So before I launch into the questions, do you guys want to give a very brief backstory to how you gained weight in the first place?
Yeah.
And then I'll kind of...
I think with us, gaining weight was like a gradual process. I don't think it was like I just got big. So I remember thinking, I've always been chubby, like just always. So like, from being a kid to being a teenager, always chubby. Just, I can't think of a time I wasn't. And then during puberty, I got a bit taller. So I was like, oh my God, I'm losing weight. But actually it was just like separating yourself out a little bit more. It just disperses around your skeleton a little more. Yeah. I think for us, it was kind of like, you know that generation that's like a feeder? Like my nan was like a feeder because that was like love. And they grew up in like austerity. So for our family, it's like if you feed someone, they're loving you. But because that also combined with the fact I have absolutely no idea about food. Like I didn't know what protein was. I didn't know what carbohydrate was. I didn't know what fat was.
Why do they not teach this in school?
We don't get taught it, do we? No.
Like why?
That and taxes.
It's ridiculous. I didn't eat any healthy food when I was younger, and I was very skinny up until I was like in my late teens, and I just continued to comfort eat, but my metabolism slowed down.
Yeah.
Then I started comfort eating way more,
yeah.
And I gained, like all the weight I gained was in a very short amount of time. Like it was very gradual for you, but like I had the whole like, and then like loads of stretch marks everywhere, and I was like, oh my God. I woke up one day feeling like I was in a suit. Like, really? I felt like I was trapped in something that I would look down and be like, wait, that's not my, what? Like, they're not my boobs, that's not my legs, that's not my arms. It just felt so bizarre.
It's like two different stories then, because if you put it on quickly as you're older and you know you've isolated what it was, like poor relationship with food. But I think for our one, because it was slowly, since I think probably about 12 onwards.
Did you ever like not realise that you were overweight?
Yeah, and also like friends didn't say that we were overweight.
They didn't care about it.
But they didn't see it as an issue to talk about.
That's one of the important things. Like, my friends didn't care that I was overweight. It didn't
they
affect them in the slightest.
Either,
like it wasn't nothing. They didn't care because it didn't affect them, and they never saw it. It was not like, oh, that's fat Nikki. It was just that's Nikki.
Yeah.
But like, bullies at school would be like, that's the fat twins.
Yeah, obviously bullies would see it, but then bullies pick on their own insecurities in other people. So it's like that's irrelevant. But yeah, to other people it didn't matter. But they notice when you start losing it, like...
Yeah, and then they start complimenting you. And then you start linking being skinnier means people think that I'm better or people praise me for it. Yeah, and it's so weird. Like, I still, the odd time, get that voice in the back of my mind, like, you know, if only you were a bit thinner. If only you were just like 10 pounds less than you are. Why can you not keep off that last 10 pounds that everyone talks about? Like,
but you're fed that from every direction.
Every part of the media is telling you that, and then I'm like, well, I'm comfortable and I feel healthy and I don't like get sick all the time and I can be active.
Yeah.
So why am I like torturing myself?
It's because I think as we're older now, like growing up, I didn't really pay attention to it, but in the media, like TV, radio,
not so much radio, not see them, but magazines, it's everyone's like this set image that is the one you have to be.
Yeah.
And like, I didn't pay attention growing up, but now I'm like, oh, that's what every woman thinks hot, or every guy thinks hot. Like, I need to be like that.
Yeah.
When in reality, like, every body shape's different.
I know a lot of people who are like quite overweight and they're perfectly happy with it, and they actually don't want to lose weight, and I think that's okay. Like, I feel like obviously if you feel healthy, it shouldn't be a huge thing, but I feel like, did you guys, what was your motivation for, was it only self-image, was it your health, was it a mixture?
Do you know what it was like? We went to, I mean, we've talked about this before, but for us, we went to university, and I think it is when I removed other people doing and preparing my food for me, I could have that control over what I was eating. And I am someone that likes control over things, so I could, like, that was breakfast, lunch and dinner, and then I wouldn't have a snack here because I really reveled in having that control. So for me, and I think it was the same for Sammy, it's like, once we had control over the purse strings and like everything else going on with our meals, it became easier.
Okay.
But when there's that level of like uncertainty of what the next meal is, and you know, or it's being prepared for you by mum, or you know, not that it was ever mum's fault that I was overweight. It definitely didn't help. Like,
yeah, same. Like my parents just never ate healthy, and I was like, if I lived with a bunch of really active, you know, sports people,
that would be fine.
I never would have had those problems. Like if they were into making salmon and brown rice with broccoli.
Oh yeah, salmon and soft cheese, not like a Domino's pizza every night.
Every day.
For me though, it wasn't anything to do with self-image. I think it was like confidence, maybe. And I was at uni, and I think I felt like I was holding myself back from situations that I could have done in terms of like uni trips, or this sounds really stupid, but when you're like really overweight, I was so worried about going on a plane. I was like, what if they asked me to move?
If you can't fit, or if the belt won't fit around you.
I was like, same on like roller coasters and stuff. Like, you know, that moment where, is it going to click, and you know that you're on the last one.
The most humiliating moment for me was when we went to Thorpe Park once, and I got in one of the rides, and they were like, we're going to need you to move to this seat because it doesn't go down properly. And this is once, oh my god, it's fucking horrible.
It makes you feel like you're not normal, or it makes you feel like you're less than everyone else somehow, because you're, I think that's a huge driving force for most people, is that you're kind of, there is a healthy range for a human being, and I know it's different for everyone. That's what's healthy for me is not going to be healthy for someone else, but there is definitely a range that when you go over it, that's why doctors use things that are so like the BMI doesn't really mean much because it doesn't count your muscle mass and stuff, so you can be technically like obese in terms of body fat and be a normal BMI, but it doesn't, like, it's a general
guideline.
General guideline.
Let's do the questions.
Why did you do it like that?
I don't know. I felt like you said segue, so I was like, I'm going to do it in a presenter. Like, should we do the questions? Yeah.
Malia said, any advice on maintaining balance? I go from one extreme to a downward spiral of junk. And that sounds so like when I was experiencing binge eating disorder. And I'm not telling you have that. Hey, Feng Gui,
hello.
shush.
Popular.
I'm not obviously telling you that you have that, but I can definitely relate to the whole being really good for a few days and using that word good and then being like, I'm going to be bad today. And, you know, you have one like unhealthy meal and you're like, right, well, today is ruined. I'm just going to eat like I'm going to like...
Screwed for the rest of the day.
Yeah. And then you just eat all this stuff even if you're not hungry and you don't even want it. But my advice to that would be, and like, tell me if you guys agree or disagree on this, but my advice and what I still do now, because that will happen to me if I try and go a bit too wild with it, I incorporate like things that I really crave and treats and things that I really enjoy eating consistently, like in littler portions and regularly, so I never feel the need to do that, and I don't cut any food groups out. So like
that's so true.
I like, and I know one of you guys was saying to me about carbs or something like that, and I'd love to know, like, does that make it difficult for you ever?
So I think what you said a second about calling out food groups.
I'm so afraid of cutting something out.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so to lose all the weight, I actually cut out carbs, and I think only until recently have I like started to accept that it's actually okay to eat like potatoes.
Some of them now that you've lost it.
Yeah. And I think so. The balance thing, I think, is something you're probably always gonna worry about. If you've lost loads of weight, you're gonna always worry about it.
Yeah. It definitely does be in your head still.
Yeah, for sure. But I also want to say, like, I think it's also really, really bad how companies brand foods good and bad now.
I hate that.
Like,
but that's
there's
why
no
there's
such thing as
such a
bad
backlash.
food. It's clean eating.
Well, I've got the book. Where is it? Oh, Hemsley and Hemsley. There's a backlash against that kind of food blogger slash bookmaker,
Yeah.
because like they are branding good food and bad food, when actually there is, what is it my nan always used to say, and my mum always repeats it, it's like a little bit of what, no, it's a little bit of what keeps you sweet or something like that.
A little bit of what you fancy does you good.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
like true, because I think the whole binging thing is, because I used to go to uni, have like a really strict week or maybe 2 weeks, and then I go back home and be like, okay, the gloves are off, I can eat whatever
Yes, I used to do
Like,
that to my
all
mum's
the
all the
time.
time.
Takeaway.
and it's so easy at your mum's, because you know that your mum is going to have biscuits in the cupboard, or
Yeah.
like, you know, where she keeps the Kit Kats. Or
And you
that
just
sort
go
of stuff.
hog wild. It's
Yeah.
like, I've been so good for days. And during those days, the idea of even having a Kit Kat sends your brain going, I can't have a Kit Kat.
It's such
but
a
then,
sin.
on
I'm
the day...
fucked for the week.
Yeah, I'm fucked. Like, and then on a binge day, I would be like eating 5 Kit Kats, 6 packets of crisps, big takeaway,
And not feel full up.
and not feel full, but also not have the mentality of like the way I did the other days. It's like I'm gone into this blind mode.
Yeah, it's
I'm
like
like
it
a
just
robot.
descends.
Was
And
this
you
when
like
you went to
eat.
Yeah.
your mum's house then?
My mum's house.
I think
she
it's a
has
location
press.
thing.
Yeah, she has this press where like she just has filled with stuff. She doesn't eat this stuff, but it's like
Worst kind of
the
person.
Right?
treats press.
They don't eat it, but you do,
You
and it's
do,
like,
yeah.
stop buying it.
Don't eat it then. Don't eat it if you're
It's
gonna
like,
feel
you
guilty.
don't
And I'm like,
understand.
I don't work like that if it's there. So
Yeah.
one good tip as well is so obviously like having them little and often and not denying yourself them, but
Yeah.
also don't have them in your house, because if you have a big press full of shit, you're gonna want it. Like you're gonna be lying in bed going like,
Biscuits
"There's
in."
sweets there."
I know there's a penguin bar downstairs.
Yeah. Oh, the sun on the stairs. Like, just
Do you know
like-
what I'm still really bad with? If I've packed a lunch to go out with me,
Yeah.
and I'm on that train in, and I know I've got like something nice that I'm looking forward to in my bag. This happened the other day on the Eurostar. Like we treated ourselves to, there was these like protein bars.
You say we.
I bought 2, and I was
Like-
like, I'll have one for lunch. Fuck, no, I wouldn't. Like, I got half an hour into that train journey, and the woman next to me was like, "You've just had one." I was like, it lasted all of half an hour. I know I'm never gonna get over that, and that's fine.
Yeah,
Just
like
don't-
I do as well. Like there's certain things that, you know, and I have done this even recently, and it still doesn't work. Like if I buy a full tube of Pringles,
Oh, yeah.
I will eat all
Didn't you
of
tweet
them.
about this the other day?
Yes, I ate, and they were live streaming, and I was like, I just ate a whole thing of Pringles. Like I will eat all of it. If I buy a small tub, I'll eat that and I'll be satisfied.
Yeah.
So the whole portion control thing, like using a smaller plate and weird things like that actually do work. So you will see a lot of magazines and things like that suggesting those kinds of things.
It's about
which I agree
knowing
with.
your like boundaries as well. Like if you know, because I do
Yeah.
as well. If I get a whole box of Pringles, I know they'll probably go in one night. So, and if you know that actually you're full up after this many Pringles, I'm never full up after Pringles now.
No.
But like as an example, if you're full up of this many, then don't set yourself up for a fall, because then you're going to beat yourself up over it, and it's not worth it,
Yeah.
because you've had a whole tub of Pringles, but now you're feeling really guilty because you've attached like.
But that's
so much negativity to
Yeah.
eating that because it's bad food.
That's
Yeah.
why it's a carb thing. So this what means understanding food groups can actually help. Like this sounds so stupid. Like knowing what a protein, a carb, and a fat is, but you also know what's right for your body. So when you read in these books like 20% of this, 20% of that, and the rest protein, it's like no, because then you might still be hungry, but someone else might be completely full up and not be able to finish their meal.
Because like some people run 2 hours a day and some people don't.
I wish
People
that was
who
me.
run need way more carbs
Yeah.
and can get away with eating way more carbs.
Yeah.
So like I definitely during my weight loss process had a phase where I was conscious of carbs, and I did try like every diet under the sun, like every diet. And I definitely tried the different ones where I cut them out, but it never lasted and it made my binging worse. So
Yeah.
that's why I didn't keep it. But I did, like what helped my weight loss, I think, was eating better carbs, like more wholesome ones,
Yeah.
because they actually fill you up, so you're not as likely to eat and reach for loads of sweets and stuff like that. If you're every day having things like oats and sweet potato and brown rice and things like that, you're definitely not going to need to binge on really unhealthy carbs. So that's why I feel like letting yourself have those things, but not loads of them either. And like you can have like a meal a day where you don't have you don't have to have carbs all the time. But like I had to train myself to not be afraid of eating an apple.
Yeah.
Like I
Oh my
literally,
God,
I would read things and I was like, if I eat that, I'll
There's
gain
so much
so
sugar.
much
Yeah.
carbs. Yeah, all the sugar, it's gonna go straight to my head. And like I just had to get used to it as well. Like oh my god, like when I was really skinny as well, I was just constantly looking at myself going, I'm still not skinny enough. I
Yeah.
need to lose more. And now I'm like way bigger than that. But now I'm just like
Comfortable.
yeah, and comfortable. Like it's so about your mindset.
Yeah.
So just don't torture yourself. Like I don't know what weight or size you are now, and I don't know if you need to be doing this whole extreme and once you're, but no one should do an extreme deprivation thing and then like
it's about being healthy.
That's why you pig out, is because you're depriving yourself.
Yeah, the deprivation thing. If you starve your body as well, the next time on a diet,
you shouldn't
be starving. Like you should not be super hungry on a diet. It's just about like a lifestyle change as well.
Yeah.
But the reason when you starve yourself and you go to eat next, you stuff your face because your body's like, shit, I need to get all I can because I'm probably going next 12 hours.
Counterproductive because your body enters this process where it's like, I think it's actually, if you not eat every 3 hours, then your body's like, okay, we're going to store the next meal as fat because we need that. You know, if you was in the wild as a caveman, you don't know when your next meal is, so your body will automatically store everything as fat.
Yeah, so you shouldn't feel bad for it because it's just human nature.
Yeah.
And humans, even 100 years ago, didn't have shops where you walk in and the first things you see is the stuff that tastes and smells amazing and it's cheap.
Yeah.
So like it's just everything is stacked against us and we all need to like literally help each other and like have support groups every bloody day to just not like isn't it? It's so
it's so cheap to buy rubbish as well.
Oh, I know.
Hate it.
You can buy like a few hundred calories for like a couple of quid.
Yeah.
And like I often see school kids walking around with big packets of cookies,
fizzy drinks out
and
their
eat that as their lunch. I'm like, your lunch is a packet
like a whole
of cookies.
packet.
Yeah. And I literally, when I was in school, my mum used to make us bring in a sandwich and fruit, and I would throw them in the bin and get bars out of the bar machine. So I had like 4 Snickers bars.
Oh, we've all been there.
Good times.
But when
good
you're
times.
that young, you can have that and not put on weight.
Yeah,
Cherish
I know. Yeah, like your
metabolism.
Oh man. Well, I got to 19. It was like. Caitlin said dealing with how slow the process can be, so the weight loss process, and I think. I know, for example, with me, I used to see a magazine and it would be like, lose 10 pounds in 10 days. And it'd have a picture of someone with the flattest abs on the cover. And I was literally like putting off losing all the weight that I had for a while because I knew once I did it, it would go in 2 weeks. I knew it because that's what I see.
Yeah.
Because you're being fed that.
It's not that long to wait.
I said to my mom one day, I got like a magazine, I was like, Mom, do you think like if I start like this diet like tomorrow, do you think like I would be like the right like back to my old weight in like a month? And she just went laughing in my face.
Thank you for the support.
And she was just like, because she had gone through this like for years and years and years, the whole yo-yoing thing.
Yeah.
And I had no idea. Like I had no idea how long it was going to take. How long did it take you guys each?
About best part of 2 years, I'd say. Like I think it was a slow process.
That's amazing though for that amount.
Yeah.
They lost like me. They lost like me.
So, but I did it.
On
mine
them.
wasn't 2 years.
No, but
I lost my weight in about 8 months.
I think it was. I think it actually was 2 years, but I think it sped itself up. So it was gradual to begin with, and
Did
I didn't
you
notice
have
it
in state? I had phases of weight loss. I don't think mine was a solid amount of time because I had phases of adjusting to a new lower number. Then I'd go again. Then I'd go again.
because it was happening without me intentionally doing it the first time round. Like, so the first part of the process, I didn't really notice it. But I think because we're in such an instant generation, like everything's up. The news is 24 hours. Like Instagram is people uploading every 5 seconds, and you can just put stuff out there so quickly. I think you expect everything to be quicker than it is.
Yeah, people
And it's
do.
a marathon, not a sprint, and that's like the hardest part.
I love that quote. I used to look at that quote
Yeah.
all the time. I was always like, and people would explain to me as well that if you lose weight slowly, it's more likely to stay gone.
Yeah.
So remind yourself of that.
It's a
If
mindset,
you
isn't it?
can do a crash diet and lose all your weight and loads of water weight, but you'll gain it back like in a week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is just stupid.
It's like people do these teas and stuff like that.
Oh
it just
man,
makes you
I've
piss
been
out your
offered
water.
so much money to promote like
Detox.
teas
and
that like give you a flat belly and skinny this blah
Yeah,
blah blah.
It's like it also gets
No.
rid of body water.
you're pissing out nutrients that your body
You're
needs.
shitting out stuff that you need. Yeah, you're paying to like lose the nutrition from the food
colonic
that
in
you're
a
buying.
cup.
Stupid.
Fuck that. Oh my god.
It's such bullshit. But for me, I think it was different because Nicky sort of lost weight in like his first year of uni, whereas I think I was still kind of comfort eating. I don't know, I was just eating a lot. And then went into our second year at university, and I decided that okay, I was going to lose some weight before my 21st birthday. I was like, lose some weight. I discovered like a low carb diet.
Oh my god.
So it sounded great because these people were like, I've lost this 10 pounds in a week. That was water weight. If you
Yeah.
do a low carb, you lose your water weight. I didn't do it. Came off really quickly. So I went home for summer, came back, and I'd lost like 3 stone. and then all in total I lost like 10 stone, and it was kind of unsafe.
Did you stick with it because you were seeing results?
Yeah.
Oh, that definitely helps, doesn't it?
So in 8 months I lost basically half my body weight,
Wow.
which wasn't very healthy. And there was like scared that I was like anemic and stuff, so it wasn't safe. But I think anything that cuts out a food group just isn't safe.
Yeah,
and I really regret, I think, doing a low carb diet.
Well, this is the thing, like, you got to where you needed to get, and then, like, you know, like, people will, there's loads of routes you can take, and this is the thing, like, some people will go and cut out loads of protein, and they'll lose weight from that. Some people will cut out loads of fat, like with Weight Watchers and all those. That works too.
Yeah.
If you cut out carbs, it's the same. But the reason that all of those diets work is because your body literally is not, like, the reason your body is just, like, losing all this, it is, yeah, and so, if you, even if you're doing that now, like, you know, I think it is okay, it's safe for a certain amount of time, but it's not maintainable for life.
No.
Like the way, like, we were eating chips today, like, you know, you can still eat carbs and stuff like that when you're in maintenance, but you have to just make sure you're not going back to, like, eating way more than you're burning.
Yeah.
You know?
And you're not doing it all day, every day as well. Like, treat
Part of
ourselves to
it,
chips earlier. Well, it doesn't mean you're going to do that again for dinner tonight.
Yeah.
Maybe you will, but it doesn't mean you'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah. Every meal is like a new start as well.
Yeah.
Like, that's one thing that I always have to remember, because sometimes I'll eat something and I'll be so bloated and I'll feel like shit, and then I don't have to make my next meal be bad, though. I can, you know, you can also
people like get into the process of writing off a day, and then it gets to the point where, and I know so many people that do this, they're like, I'm going to start a diet on Monday, and it's like, well, what's different about Monday than about
tomorrow
this evening? Like,
or this evening?
Yeah. Because people are like, I know, because I used to do it all the time, and I still sometimes do it.
Because they're treating it as a temporary thing that's going to end, and if it ends, you'll gain it back. You know,
it's the worst, because you're like, oh, that's Monday ruined. Oh, if I've ruined Monday, then the rest of the week's probably written off too, so I'm not going to do it. And it's like, no, because just because the week is in 7 days doesn't mean that you can start every 7 days.
So, like, I definitely struggled with the whole slowness of it, because I'd have weeks where I wouldn't lose anything, and I would have gone, worked out, like, every day, and, you know, at the start I was tracking calories because I didn't understand amounts, so I never do that anymore. But I think having a general awareness of a portion, so, like, now in my head I know a half a cup of oats is a portion, and I just I know what quantities I need now. But back in the day I was very strict on calories.
Is that how you lost the weight through calories, just monitoring them?
Not even, like, so I think the first batch, so this is the thing, like, I lost it in batches. I lost like maybe a stone or a bit at a time, and I'd kind of like level out, and then I'd have to kick it up a notch to lose more. My metabolism, though, just, like, definitely yo-yoing messes your metabolism so much.
It almost gives up at one point. Like, the plateauing part is the worst part, because if you're weighing yourself, I got a really unhealthy habit of weighing myself pretty much every day.
I used to do that.
I'd be like,
I used to do that.
I have a poo in the morning,
and take off all your clothes, and it has to be in the same area of
and then you still have your socks on at one point, you'd be like, shit, that number's not good enough. Take the socks off.
And breathe in a lot of air to make yourself lighter. Like, we've all been
there. This thing as well, I'd move the scale around.
I'd go.
It's where the scales are on the floor as well. Like, oh my god, am I standing on it on the wrong way?
I had to have it on the same tile.
But then the thing is, not to weigh yourself. Like,
I thought I'd be laughing at this. Like, it was quite sad.
It is. It's heartbreaking. But we had this personal trainer for a month, and what was really interesting is that he was like, weigh yourself every month, because the more time you leave between
That's about what I do now.
Yeah. I hadn't weighed myself for 6 months, and I didn't feel guilty about it at all. But yeah, don't weigh yourself even every week, because you could get yourself on a bad day where you've got more water weight and stuff like that, and water weighs a lot.
And then if you go out drinking, all these things change the water weight levels in your body. So some people will go out and drink loads. The next day they'd wake up and be like, my stomach is so flat today.
Yeah.
It's because all of the water is gone. Yeah, and then that's why you crave salty food the next day. So just learn it. You learn all this. It's a process, like you do. So the slowness of it is technically a good thing, because you're picking up all these weird bits of information about how your body works. And
it's a learning process. Yeah,
and then they'll stick, because you're not just going, I'm going to eat cabbage soup 3 times a day and I'm going to be skinny next week. And then you go back to eating bloody Pringles for, like...
I was going to say Easter eggs, but I was
Easter
like,
eggs.
it's not all day every day.
I want an Easter egg so much. They're in the shops now.
The ones in Tesco that have got the rocky road in it. Let's talk about this later.
Alana wants to know, do we ever get confused about how we look now weight-wise, because clothing sizes vary so much? Clothing sizes bug me.
I think for me, like, yes. I think women's sizes are quite standard,
They're
aren't they?
so weird, though. Like, I can go into 4 shops, and I might be the same size in 2 of those shops, and then I can go from anywhere from a UK 10, 12, 14 in different shops.
Really?
And yeah, like it's really weird jump.
Same for men.
Oh my god,
I
skinny
actually saw a
jeans,
post
crop jeans.
Yeah,
like,
but I saw a thing on Twitter. It was this girl that posted about how she was an American girl, so I think it's very similar here. She got a pair of her favourite jeans from like, I don't know what brand it was, but this brand, and then they broke, and so she kept them. I don't know where she kept them, but she wanted to get another pair from the same shop, and it was the same size, but like 4 years later.
Oh my god.
And she put them. You'd think that the older pair maybe would shrunk more because she's put them in hot wash and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But she put the new pair next to the old pair, so the old pair were nearly a third bigger.
Wow.
But they were the same size. And she was like, this is why you think you're fat when you go shopping.
Yeah.
And if you're really big and you don't go shopping often because it really knocks your confidence and you don't find the clothes you like, and you're going in, you know, every few months, clothes sizes do wildly change.
They do.
And you shouldn't base yourself on a clothes size.
Another thing is that body shapes are different. So like I have friends who are hourglass shaped, and I am not. I'm like never gonna be that shape. So what a size, they might be a size 12 and look incredible in a certain low-rise jeans with like a crop top, whereas if I wear that, it's like I've like a muffin top over it, and like I'm just like, why is my weight not in my ass instead? Like fuck off. So like, but I had to get used to that and just embrace it. I'm never gonna have this boom 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 shape, and I'm just not. Like none of my family do.
Genetics.
Yeah, and like I can mimic that if I work out a lot with weights and I get to a low weight, my waist does be narrower than my hips.
Yeah.
But it's difficult for me to maintain, and I might go through phases of exercising more, but I don't pressure myself anymore to be like, oh well. So sizes, I wear the same size jeans as some friends who have a different body shape, and we look totally different in them. So just your size doesn't matter in your clothes. Like, but it is confusing, especially when you've been a huge size, and then you're like, it's cool to be able to finally go into any shop as well
and pick up anything.
Always find your size, like have an average body size.
Yeah,
and
like for me, I used to shop on like eBay and stuff because they didn't do the sizes big enough. Don't mind saying that now, but like being able to just go into like River Island or Top Man or something like that and just pick something up and be like
a medium.
I could try whether or not it looks good, different question, but I could put it on.
Yeah.
At least try and put it on. The worst part about shopping for clothes is when we all do it, we all go in the fitting rooms, put it on. It looks like you see it on a model, looks great. You put it on, you look crap.
Yeah. And one of you guys were saying in another video as well about clothes that you still would wear clothes that's bigger. Was that you? Yeah, because I do that quite a lot. Like I like even like this jumper is like really baggy and big, and there's certain clothes that I don't like to be skimming me too much.
Yeah.
And I get really self-conscious. We go to a lot of YouTube events and stuff, and like I'll get like a really fancy expensive dress, and sometimes they're kind of like tight or whatever, and I do be so aware sometimes of my size. I had a really weird moment right at an event in Canada recently. We were walking by a big mirror. I was with 3 of my very slim and in shape friends, and they all looked so fit. They were so fit, right? But I had this weird bizarre moment. We were walking by it, and I knew like my dress is way bigger than her dress, and you know, blah blah blah, but I was vlogging. And this is in one of my random food diaries, but we're walking by this mirror and vlogging the mirror, and I'm expecting to see my friend, elephant. Like in my head, I was like I was preparing for the worst. I was like, I'm going to see me and I'm going to be like this blob next to all these people. And then I looked at the footage and it just looked like 4 people walking by a mirror. I was like, I didn't look
hung
like,
up on it.
Yeah, like you definitely, like sometimes like I forget that like even though my body is still the same shape that I was when it was bigger, but it's definitely smaller, and it's hard to remember that.
You do, because like I did it the other day actually, weirdly enough. I was walking between 2 tables that I know 3-4 years ago that I would not have fit between.
Really?
And I was like, like mentally prepared myself, so I like sucked in and like went sideways. I was like, oh, I can just I had to go sideways anyway.
Like one of those cats that go
I was like, boom. But like I was fine and I could get through it, and it's weird that but I think it's because in your formative years you see yourself as occupying this much space, but then in your adult life when maybe you have lost the weight and you're like this much space, you still think in terms of that.
Phantom fat.
Yeah, it's phantom.
Oh my God,
it's
what a good
spectral
word.
fat.
Phantom fat. It's like your mind's like catching up with your body.
Yeah, it's so weird. Alana asked, when you want to lose a little bit of weight, tone up, or make better food choices, how do you explain that to people without them basically getting an issue with it or judging or whatever?
I like this one.
That's hard because like whenever what I always notice is when you're at a meal with other people and you're on a diet or
Oh,
you've changed,
yes.
they question your choices
It
of food.
becomes
It's
everyone's
like,
business.
Yeah.
yeah, and then people have their own opinions on different diets. I hate the word diet, but like kind of it
Different
is if you're,
lifestyles.
yeah, like they have their opinions on whether you should be cutting out this food or you
Family
maybe
members
should
as
have that.
well. If you're around
Yeah.
family and they're like,
Yeah, like
that's obsessive, and you're like, no, I just want to take like sort of
Yeah.
care of myself more.
And you're allowed to try things as well. Like I remember I was like vegan for ages, and my family gave me such a hard time about it. Like
Yeah.
they were always down my throat about it, and it made me get very defensive and like made me really uncomfortable. And then I did, when I was losing all the weight, I used to make my dinner myself. I wouldn't really eat dinner with my dad and my brother because they would have. He'd make like spaghetti bolognese and like a big huge portion of garlic bread, and then I'd make like I'd be like
a salad with fish.
like but like if I wanted the equivalent, I'd get like brown rice pasta and I'd make tomato sauce myself, and then I'd have like broccoli and I'd try and bulk it up with that, and I'd have like, and I'd sit there and I'd be eyeballing theirs, and then I'd be like, I'd get a little bit of cheese, like a little bit of parmesan, and then I'd be like, oh yeah, oh, I'm treating myself, go wild. That's the shit right there. So like with things like that, they would still be like, why can't you just eat this? It's not bad. And you know, I'm like, I'm trying to lose weight. When I've lost weight, I can eat that.
Yes.
And then I can, you're both in shape, fine. But I'm trying to lose weight. And to get weight off your body, you have to change your habits a bit. You know? And you don't have to keep them, like, you don't have to keep things out forever. Now I can eat the same dinners as my dad all the time. But like back then, like, it would just kind of, I was eating them and all the other stuff I was eating. You know? So
Yeah.
Also, it's like, touching on that as well, probably our parents' generation are like exercising when you've got time is quite an alien thing. Like they'll just work, come home, and get on with
they
stuff.
moved so much as
But
well
they're more
during the
active.
day.
They did active jobs where they were out like doing manual labour.
But I know when we started like exercising, like running, like the concept of going for a run around your town to exercise, get sweaty and burn calories was so alien to like family members. Like, well, why are you doing that? They understand now, obviously they understand now. But like even signing up to the gym, maybe you were the first one in your family to sign up to a gym because it wasn't something older people did.
Yeah, a gym. The concept of a gym is so weird though. Can you imagine if like a
sweaty
cat,
people in
a
one
cat
place.
or a dog or an animal in the wild, like they don't get overweight because they're eating the right thing.
Yeah.
And imagine if they had to like go like it. Just the fact that we are basically animals, but we go and pay to go into a room to like run on a thing
and sweat
and
with
sweat
other people.
And we could do that in public, but we're all like insecure, so
Yeah, so just like stand your ground with it. Just make them aware of why you're doing it, and kind of accept as well that there probably will be a bit of judgment.
Yeah.
Like it is hard to change your lifestyle, and then some people also, and do you agree with this, that people who also do know they have to change their lifestyle but they don't want to, they're like kind of resentful of the fact that you're
down.
in college, like in university, I would bring in my own lunch, and all the girls at the table would get canteen lunch, and they'd be like, oh yeah, here's Melanie with a little Ziploc bag and her little pita breads and her little and her little hummus, like, and they'd be like, are you not like starving, like would you not just like, they're like, oh, I don't know how you stick to that, like you've a lot of willpower, don't you? And they're just digging at you, and I'd have to sit there like like I did that whole Mean Girls thing of sitting in the bathroom eating my lunch sometimes, and I was like, don't judge me, like stop looking at what I'm eating. And
because it's a big insecurity anyway, like because they're judging you for what you're eating, but you know you're eating that because you're trying to make a positive change, but
that's what I hate.
They're making it a negative thing. And
when I
like,
was big,
I
used to hate I didn't want anyone to realise that I was conscious of my weight and I was trying to make a difference about it. That's the worst thing. So when I was like my heaviest, and I'd start taking in like the sliced up pepper and hummus, I'd do it so secretively because I didn't want anyone to be like, he is worried about his weight. Exactly, like, in my lecture, like under a book, like. But like I think sometimes as well, people forget that if people are overweight, not all of them want to lose weight.
Yeah.
And that's, some people automatically think he's overweight, he wants to be skinny. No. That's not necessarily
I know
the case.
loads of people who are totally comfortable in their size.
Yeah, like good on them as well.
Yeah, and it like know that if you're not comfortable, it's okay to change things, and like if someone is comfortable, like it's not your place to like comment on what they're doing at all. Laurel asked, how do you find a way of working out that doesn't feel like a chore? And basically right now all I do is like walk, and then the odd time I will do a little bit of like yoga or Pilates or something, because to be fairly honest, every other exercise form feels like a chore to me. Even things I used to love, like I used to have a mini trampoline and I would put on music and I'd do that. but I'm not in the mindset right now of being in workout mode. So right now, every exercise form is a chore to me. But at the time, I used to just have to do it. I would treat it like a chore. I don't know about you.
The first thing I did exercise-wise...
Gym.
No, running.
Oh, really?
Went running. And I
loved running at one point.
I hated it.
Did you?
I went running for 5 seconds. This is my heaviest. 5 seconds, I was out of breath.
Did you get the whole thing where you start spitting and you get like, it's like
burning
burning down your
sick
throat?
and like
You're like, I
burning.
think this is the end.
Yeah, it's like, this is the
I
end.
might be dying.
Heart attack at 18. Like,
No, it's awful. Like,
so hard.
running is only fun when you can run. Like
Or
when
have
I
a
was
friend
yeah,
that you run
yeah.
with.
If you're running with me and my brother used to run together, and we got really fit. And I used to do 10K races all the time.
No way.
Right now, if I tried to run 5K, I'd be like, I did one before Christmas, and I barely made it. Like,
I do think you need to, like, because a lot of exercise isn't fun. Like, you need to, I think you should try different things.
Or
Like, I
find
used
what
to
you
love
do find
swimming, or I did yoga for a bit. I'm not doing
Yeah.
that, but I loved yoga because I like the sensation of feeling like I'm making myself stronger for myself.
yes,
Because with yoga, like, you're stretching out, and same with Pilates, like, you're actively making your body stronger, and you're making your body do what it should do. So that feels good.
Yeah.
But like, nobody's gonna enjoy spin, so don't ever try and enjoy it. Like, that's not
Yeah.
gonna happen.
Yeah.
Do it with a friend helps.
Some people say they enjoy exercise, and I'm like,
You're a
why can't I
liar.
be you?
You know, it's
I'm
like-
like, but the thing, like, if you do sports as well, like, obviously, not many people really go join a team, but that I think. Because you're not like, I'm going to burn some calories right
Yeah.
now. You're like, I'm going to have fun with my friends and try and like
Competitive
win.
sports.
Yeah. So yeah, just like if you do hate exercise, like just know that you just have to do it. Like but walking is a great thing for maintenance. Just
Definitely.
for weight loss, you do kind of have to
Especially
get
if you've got a
more
dog.
sweaty.
But it
Oh,
is
the
like
dog, yeah.
incorporate it into your day. So we have a lift for our flats, but I know that I could, if I was feeling particularly like I'd eaten too much the day before and cheated a lot, which you're allowed to do.
Yeah.
And just use the stairs, like just incorporate doing more into your day. So if there's a day where you've not left the flat, maybe go for a walk. Like just do that, and that's just
an
easy way.
hour-long power walk is like a decent.
Yeah.
You know, it is definitely a decent and is associated with longer life and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Walking.
People who walk a lot. So
But
yeah.
there's a
And
lot
happiness.
as well. Like our friend at uni, she always used to use like the DVDs, but nowadays you can get like, oh my god, fitness DVDs. Are they still made?
I don't know. I remember celebrities used to like bring
all
them
the
out and then
time.
they'd
Sure,
gain all
Davina
the
has
weight
one.
back.
Do
I'm
another
like,
one.
Yeah. I
Oh
have
my
to lose
God.
all the weight I gained back because that last one didn't really work.
So we'll do a DVD on it.
Yeah.
But then you can watch like Body Coach and stuff on YouTube.
Oh yeah, YouTube. There's so many
So
fitness
many good
things.
ones, yeah.
I've done them a few times. Like there's a lot of who's good on
There's the
Carly
Carly
Machines.
Carly Rowena has great ones. Yeah, Lean Machines.
There's that yoga lady that I don't know her name, but she does yoga.
Adriana.
Yes, yeah, she
Yeah.
does like really good yoga videos.
Body Coach is one that I use. So when we moved to the flat, I didn't have a gym membership or anything, and I didn't really know the local area, so I used Body Coach, and it'd be like a 15-minute intensity video, and you'd be like sweating by the end of it.
Oh my
And that's
God.
it, 15 minutes, and you're done for like the next 2 days.
Oh, it's just tough titty, okay? You're gonna have to exercise and might be shit sometimes, but one thing,
feel better.
if you agree, you do feel good after.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
You feel so accomplished
Is
and
it
you're like,
endorphins?
oh, yeah, endorphins. Yeah, you just get this weird release of like, I'm so glad I did that.
I don't know what like that. I was like endorphins, isn't it?
Those
Like,
So, that was long. I know, but I hope that some of you enjoyed it and found it valuable, and I do hope you go over to these guys' channel. We did a video on their channel today.
It was a carpool and it was epic.
Yeah, we were just driving around in it.
Irish tracks.
Oh, it was fun times. If you have any other questions about all this stuff, do leave a comment down below, or like give us your own stories and stuff like that. And I will try and come back to this video and read them often, because like I do read most of my comments. But yeah,
I'll
thanks.
probably read loads of them as well, to be honest. Because
I'll just
love
hang
You
out.
better.
I'll be sitting there like, me too.
Yeah, lol. So goodbye, my loves.
See ya.
Bye.
So I don't know what I'm doing.